This episode is made possible by the support we get from Fort Collins Kia. If you are in the market for any electric Kia, not only do they never add market adjustments, they will deliver your car to you anywhere in the 48 contiguous states for out-of-spec viewers. More information in the link in this episode's description. Hello and welcome back to the Out of Spec podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah. Tesla is looking to increase the prices on all Tesla models in Canada except the Cybertruck starting February 1st, and it's worse than you think. Now let's just jump right onto Tesla's Canadian website over here, and you'll see on the top in this gold tab, it says Model 3 prices will increase up to 9,000 Canadian dollars starting February 1st. If I do the same thing, I go to the Tesla Model Y, it says at the top, Tesla Model Y prices will increase up to $4,000 on February 1st. Now, why is this? We don't have a specific reason yet. So far, we know it's just a voluntary price increase, but it could have something to do with the tariffs that Trump is likely to impose on Canada coming February 1st. He's said multiple times that February 1st, we will likely see tariffs on Mexico and Canada says they are going to retaliate with the same tariffs. So if we put 25% tariffs on Canada, they're going to put 25% tariffs on us. That's only going to increase the prices of vehicles made domestically in the United States, then imported into Canada, which we know the Model 3, Y, S, and X made in the Fremont factory, as well as vehicles made in Giga Austin that are then exported into Canada, they're going to see a tariff on them because Canada might put a tariff on the United States. So coincidentally, that's what Tesla could be preparing for. However, they have not told us why. It could just totally be a coincidence. But we know Tesla, Elon and Trump are pretty close, and it's likely Elon knows something, and so they're just prepping, right? They're already getting buyers ready, letting them know February 1st, you're going to see a $4,000 price increase for the Model Y, the Model S, the Model X, and then for the Model 3, up to $9,000 for the Model 3 Performance, $8,000 for the Model 3 all-wheel drive, and $4,000 for the Model 3 rear-wheel drive. But it gets a lot worse. Now, the beginning of this month, February, Tesla increased the prices on Canada vehicles, Canada models, by $1,000. Specifically, the Model 3 and Y then lost their $5,000 Canadian rebate. It went past the limit in terms of price, and so this made it impossible for the Model 3 and Y to get the $5,000 Canadian EV rebate, which means it's $6,000 more expensive for Canadian Model 3 and Ys compared to the end of 2024. That's because, right, $1,000 price increase from Tesla, then you're losing that $5,000 EV rebate from Canada. That's $6,000 total that you would be paying more for a vehicle compared to just a couple weeks ago. But you add, right, 6,000 Canadian dollars, right, a price increase on top of the $4,000 price increases we're going to be seeing on February 1st. The Model Y is 10,000 Canadian dollars more expensive compared to the end of 2024. The Model 3 Performance, $10,000 more expensive compared to the year before, just the end of 2024. The Model 3 rear-wheel drive, $10,000 Canadian dollars more expensive. Now the Model 3 all-wheel drive, get this, 14,000 Canadian dollars more expensive compared to the year before. So, and you translate that into US dollars. I can pull up a calculator here, right? 10,000 Canadian dollars, the $10,000 price increase we're seeing on the Model 3 and the Y, rear-wheel drive, performance, Model Y, rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and performance. That's 7,000 US dollars. Could you imagine getting a $7,000 price increase for the Model Y and 3 in the United States? $7,000. Then $14,000 for the Model 3 all-wheel drive. That's a $10,000 US dollar price increase. Could you imagine? The Tesla Model 3 all-wheel drive saw a $10,000 price increase in the United States. That's what Canada's getting, a $14,000 Canadian price increase that equates to 10,000 US dollars. It's astonishing. And again, it's likely having to do with these tariffs. Again, Tesla hasn't given us a reason. We have no exact knowledge of why. It could just be a coincidence that February 1st, right, Tesla's increasing pricing. February 1st, the United States might see more tariffs on Canada. But if you don't believe in coincidences, it likely means that these tariffs are happening and Canada is going to put tariffs on US made vehicles, which is going to make all US made domestic vehicles imported into Canada more expensive. Now, here's where that's the problem for EVs, right? A lot of the popular vehicles, the Toyota RAV4, the Honda CR-V, the Equinox, the Ford Edge, they're made in Canada, but they're also made in the United States. So for these companies, they would be able to get around that. They would be able to curb these tariffs because they would just sell their Canadian vehicles in Canada, sell their US vehicles in the United States. It might limit production because we do import some Canadian-made vehicles into the United States. However, they have the factories for that, and so they're able to kind of offset this. Now, for automakers like Hyundai, right, Volvo Polestar, Rivian, Ford, Tesla, right, that have factories in the United States. Tesla Model 3, Y, S, and X are made in the Fremont and Giga factories. Fremont factory for the S and X. The Ford Lightning is made in Ohio, I believe. It's made in the United States. It's a domestic vehicle. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 and 9 are made in Georgia. The Rivian R1T and R1S are made in Illinois, domestic. The Polestar vehicles, the Polestar 3 and 4, which will also the EX90, these are made in South Carolina. These vehicles will see a price increase if Canada chooses to retaliate. And again, if Tesla's already increasing pricing, and again, Elon and Trump, they know each other, they seem like best buds. Clearly, Elon knows something. They're already prepping for it on the Tesla Canadian websites. It's likely that Canadians are going to see price increases across the board, which would only slow down Canadian demand for EVs. On top of that, a large portion of these vehicles are made in Canada. For instance, right, the Tesla Model Y, majority of this car is made in North America. Keyword, North America, because a large chunk of those parts are made in Mexico or Canada. And if we see 25% tariffs on goods exported from Mexico into the United States and Canada into the United States, that means individual parts made in Canada and Mexico will see a price increase. We could see price increases on Tesla vehicles as well. So this just across the board, this would just create higher priced vehicles, not only for EVs, but for gas powered vehicles. And that's what we're seeing here, right? So again, $4,000 for the Model 3 rear wheel drive, $8,000 for the Model 3 all wheel drive. Model 3 Performance is getting a $9,000 increase. Model Y, S, and X all trims, rear wheel drive, all wheel drive, long range, plaid are seeing a $4,000 increase. Add on top of the fact that a month ago, earlier this year, rather, they lost the Canadian rebate and were increased $1,000. At a minimum, Canadian models for Tesla are increasing at a minimum, Tesla vehicles in Canada are being risen by 10,000 Canadian dollars, right? Nuts. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this develops because it is likely we're going to see more of these tariffs and more news surrounding what automakers are doing in terms of pricing, right? Because a lot of parts are made in Canada and Mexico, but they're made in the United States and then shipped to Canada, shipped to Mexico. There's a lot of a tariff war going on here, and it's going to affect us as consumers because we pay the tariffs, right? We don't directly pay the tariffs, but we pay the tariffs in terms of the cost. So if there's a good that is $10 and you introduce a 25% tariff on it, this product is now $12.50, right? $2.50, 25% of $10. You're now seeing a product that is $12.50 because of this 25% tariff. Now, businesses can eat this 25% tariff in their margins, and they can pay for the $2.50, the 25% right difference, the $2.50 difference that we're seeing on a $10 product. But that's going to eat into their margins. So what are they going to do? They're going to charge us consumers for these products. So it's unfortunate, but look, we're going to see a big change on the entire EV landscape. Trump just put out an executive order for all electric vehicles for all federal agencies, right? Slowing down NEVI funding, right? Talking about the IRA credit, shutting down policies in place that had EPA emissions be more stringent, which forced automakers to get into electric vehicles. That's what he means when he said EV mandate. I'm not sure if you've seen the news, but Trump has been quoted to say an EV mandate. There's no such thing as an EV mandate, and Trump knows this, right? He's said in his executive order, in quotations, he's literally quoted it himself, EV mandate, because he knows there's no EV mandate. But effectively what he's saying is there are policies in place that are making it harder for automakers to make internal combustion engine vehicles, which are then going to force them to make EVs. And so that's what he means by EV mandate. But yeah, I mean, clearly, right, Trump wants to change some of the landscape when it comes to energy usage and consumer choice. And so let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. This is, again, a developing story. So as more happens, I'll be updating you guys because it's likely we're going to see prices change, not only for Tesla, but for a lot of other automakers as well. My name is Isaiah. This is the Out of Spec podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next one.